Hello. Hi. Come on in. Tell me what you'd like help with. Eve writes, I had a heavy-duty insight this morning. Ooh. That I'm afraid to sit with the something in me and find out what it has for me because I think its message will be terrifying or even deliberately hurtful. Okay. I'm afraid of the something. How do I know it's benign? Yes. What a great question. This is Support for Stressful Times, and I'm Ann Weiser Cornell. And it is helpful to me to be here with you. And I ask myself, what are some of the things that support me in stressful times? And one of the things is when I feel connected to people of good heart who share with me the journey. Do you want to take a moment and ask yourself what supports you? And let's also take a moment to breathe and rest into support and feel ourselves here together. What supports you? Even a little bit. Even if a lot of the time you feel like you don't have much. Today I wanted to tell you about one of my favorite words. And. I'm really in love with the word and. Because we have the capacity to contain both hard things and things that help. And they don't have to push each other out. I used to feel like I couldn't feel both something difficult, sad, painful at the same time that I felt something light, open, joyful. I think part of the reason was that my family used cheerfulness as a way to repress or push away painful feelings. It felt like an either or. And see, I rarely need the word but anymore. And now I really like being able to say, yeah, there are some things that are hard, and there are some things that support me. Do you want to give that a try? There are some things that are hard, and we're pausing to really acknowledge those. And there are some things that support me, that I appreciate, that I'm grateful for, that I value. Nice. I'm just taking a peek. Catherine's here. Anya's here. Oh, no, nice. Anya from Rotterdam. Yeah. Great. Okay. I'm starting to hear from people. Susan writes, music, especially the blues, books, cats. They're supportive. Yeah. Yeah. And Rosa says, I'm from Mexico, and this week I'm feeling defeated and tired. Tired of trying to control and keep a positive attitude. Very good point. We should not have to make an effort to keep a positive attitude, keep control. That's a part of us that's another stress on us. At least it could be, and it sounds like it is for you, Susan. So what we want to practice together, and it's one of the things I recommend, is simply noticing without trying to make any effort to feel one way or another. Simply noticing. How am I now? How am I now? And sometimes we can direct our noticing. We can say, am I feeling something that supports me right now? The chair is supporting me. Being with you is supporting me. But that doesn't mean I should be feeling that. Let's see if we can feel that difference. Yes. Okay. Amy is loving and. Anya writes, and there's a lot of love in my life. Yes. 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 Christina writes, just last night I felt strong and good and something in me worried and at risk. Yes. Yes. It's wonderful. Thank you so much for all your ands. You know, I want to come back to the question, maybe not all of you were here yet when we heard I read Eve's question out of the chat, which is, okay, so let me back up a little and give a little background. One of the things I like to say in these webinars, and I'm going to say it again now, is that you can turn toward the places in you that are carrying something painful, hard, stressful, and say hello. And that, I think you'll find, makes a positive difference. And the point we're just making a minute ago, which is you don't have to try to make yourself feel any particular way. You just notice how you feel. So what I recommend is that you notice how you feel. And I point to my body because I think the body is really, really supportive when we want to notice how we feel. And some of us sometimes have feelings, they're almost like anticipated feelings. They're actually the worry that we're going to feel a certain way at another time. So it's actually a feeling of worry that's here right now rather than the whatever it is, destroyed, devastated, if da-da-da-da happens. So worry might be the feeling that's here right now. So the body helps us connect with what's here now. So we pause, we sense, we notice what's here now. How do I feel now? What is the feel of it? And that could be a physical sensation, like nauseated or clenched. I'm using painful, stressful examples because I really want to illustrate the helpfulness of noticing how we feel. This is because if you are actually feeling, let's say, something like clenched in your chest, what can we do with that? You might wish you didn't feel that way, but wishing won't make it go away. If only it would. It's not been my experience that wishing that our dark feelings will go away makes them go away. They're here for a reason. They've come to give you a message about something. And so you say to that painful feeling, hello. I'll tell you a little story about how this happened recently. A friend of mine was about to have some people come visit her. This was something she was not feeling very at ease about. This whole group of family members were going to come and visit, and she felt uneasy, nervous for various reasons. It had to happen. So she brought her awareness into her body, and the feeling in the body was of being squeezed like in a vice. And what it was quite uncomfortable, quite unpleasant. What do you do with something like that? Well, she said to it, I sense how squeezed you are. I sense how strong you are. I sense you feel squeezed like in a vice. And for several minutes, that's how it was. That's how it felt. And then it began to ease. It began to act the way people act when they've finally been heard. And some information began to come about what specifically it was about these relatives coming that felt so hard. And about 10 or 15 minutes later, my friend was feeling light. How do you get from tight and squeezed to light? The only way I know is by acknowledging and sensing how hard it is. And we have many years behind us of trying to get rid of and avoid our feelings and argue with them and dislike them and call them names. So we say hello to that too. Now I'm coming back to the question that Eve asked at the beginning of our meeting, which is, well, what if that in there is somehow, what was the word, Eve? Somehow damaging to us or against us or trying to hurt us? No. None of your feelings are trying to hurt you. Your feelings are coming as understandable responses to the events of your life, either the events now or they may be carryovers from the past. Because if the past wasn't resolved when it happened, when hard things that happened in the past weren't worked through when they happened, we do carry them with us and they change our responses to the present. Do you know how when something happens, maybe something, you see a judgmental look in somebody's eye, and there's a big reaction. Oh my gosh, that person hates me. Well, usually when our reaction is out of proportion somehow to the actual present moment, that's from the past. It can still be something we turn toward, give company to, and take time with. And it's still an understandable reaction. So there is nothing inside you that's trying to hurt you. I've been doing inner work since I was 22, and that's now 48 years. And I've never found anything inside that's actually evil or trying to hurt you. People can do evil actions, but our feelings aren't evil. I do think that there are certain feelings that people have that are more like composites of traumatic reactions that I don't think we can trust. But those are not, like, for instance, hate. Hate's not a trustworthy feeling. It's a composite of traumatic reactions. But if you want to work on your hate, and I welcome you to do that if you've got any, get the body feeling of it. Because body feeling, there's no body feeling called hate. There'll be the way it actually feels in the body. Yeah. Okay. Well, coming back to the other question I asked at the start of our meeting, which is, what supports you? And we have an and here with us today because we're talking about possibly quite challenging feelings, quite stressful feelings. And at the same time, we can sense what supports us. And these are not in competition. They are not like one's going to be the winner and the other's the loser. And you might only be feeling stressful feelings right now. You might not be able to feel anything that supports you. That's okay. What's important is that you're noticing that. Eve is answering me. Eve is saying, thank you so much for addressing my question. I woke in a panic and I was afraid to sit with the panic. Yeah. Do other people feel panic sometimes? I know I do. And somehow the middle of the night seems to be a time to feel it. And what would happen if so the thing about panic is that it's a body feeling that comes with thoughts, right? There are stressful thoughts that are about the future or the present, but usually the future. It's going to happen. It's sure to, doom is coming in various forms. And that's what those kinds of thoughts come with the panicked feelings. Not always. Sometimes the panic feeling is just purely physical. It's a little easier to deal with. For me, there's often a thought. And how I deal with the thought is I say, something in me says this is sure to happen, and I don't have to agree or disagree. I say hello to that. And then I do what I do with the body feeling of panic. It's not a very comfortable feeling, not easy to sit with, but it can't hurt you. It can't hurt you. Yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah, Badria writes, I'm afraid of the future. So Badria, what if you say, I am sensing something in me is afraid of the future. I am sensing a big something in me is afraid of the future. I am sensing something in me that feels like all of me is afraid of the future. Now, when we do that, we're not trying to tell you to accept and be good and stay quiet. I think it's really important to be aware that there are hard things in our lives and in the world that call to us to take action. this is not a practice that's just going to soothe and quiet your difficult feelings, because some of your difficult feelings are here to call you out into action. Maybe it's somebody in your life that you need to get something straight with. Or maybe you want to speak out in your community about something that's, let's say, unjust or hurting people you care about. Well, I think that's more likely to happen when we can keep company with our own feelings, when we can be aware of how we feel and what our feelings are saying to us. And we can more easily sort between the ways what we're feeling now is our own reactivity from long ago versus this is really about what's happening here and now. And we add to our sense of empowerment, we add to our ability to take action when we can. Yeah, Dinah's talking about having felt panic. Just talking about different, something in me feels, this person's trying to control me, this person's trying to control me. Yes. Thank you, Marianne. Marianne Holtz is on the call, who's a wonderful, inspiring activist for causes like ecology. Very good. Yeah. So if we feel eco-anxiety, if we feel anxiety about what's happening to climate here in our beloved planet, we don't just want those anxious feelings to calm down and go away. We want them to support us in taking grounded action and along with others. Yeah. Anya writes, I panic when I hear the news about new COVID cases in Europe, but is it my panic? It's not comfortable because I get negative thoughts, horror scenarios. Is it naive to stay calm and not worrying? There's also a nice place in me who's less worried, goes into nature, enjoys the day. You know, in the 12-step program, they have this thing they call a Serenity Prayer. And that's absolutely about discerning the places in our lives that we can take action. See, may I have the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Yeah. So I think one of my messages is that just because you feel fear doesn't mean you don't have courage. In fact, just the opposite. And so feelings are messages, but you won't be acting out of your feelings. You notice your feelings and you choose to act. So that pausing and sensing how we feel is one step in a whole series of approaches to life itself. Yeah. Very good. So we're talking today about and. That you can, if you want to, pause and sense how you're feeling. That even very, very stressful feelings like panic, anxiety, dread are not too much for you to feel. If you're feeling that, okay. And the language that I like to invite you to use for stressful feelings is, I am sensing something in me feels, and you may want to try that right now with me. So how are you feeling? And if it's something stressful, find a name, a word, a description for the feeling. Panic, distress, anxiety, fear, dread, sadness. And it's also possible you're feeling something that's hard to name. That's okay. You can say, I'm feeling this. And now say, I am sensing. I am sensing. It's one of the magical, empowering phrases that I love to teach. I am sensing. What are you sensing? I am sensing something in me feels. Anxiety, dread, fear, panic. I am sensing something in me feels. And I say hello to that. Now, hello is not I love you. I'm not asking you to love these feelings. What a difference it is, though, when you are present to how you feel, when you are no longer trying to fight how you feel. Can you feel that? And it is interesting to notice if there are feelings that are hard to do this with. And then we have our and. So all of that is true. I am sensing something in me stressed, or let's say exhausted is another one that you might be feeling. I feel exhausted. People feel exhausted a lot. Or sick and tired of every week feeling the same and never going anywhere. That might be one. I am sensing something in me really wants to travel, see some people. And, okay, so that can be here. And what else? What supports me? What's surprisingly good? I just realized recently, I'm so much closer to the one person I live with. We're sharing so much more of our lives, me and my sweetheart. Wow, many things are hard, and this is great. So can we do our and today? See how that feels? Yeah. Stefania writes, I'm sensing something in me feels disappointed with my daughter, a teenager. Yeah, I hear you. Good for you for saying it that way. Amy writes, something in me is feeling scattered and worried and sad and numb. That's another way to use and. You can use it with the different stressful feelings, and each of them gets a little more space. And can you feel what and does? And helps us give space to what's here. Yeah, very nice. David writes, I'm feeling something in me that wants to hide. Oh, nice. I'm glad you're including the one that wants to hide in what you're aware of. Yeah, very nice. Judy writes, I'm sensing something in me that's feeling restless and jumpy, and I say hello to that. And notice when we say hello, and you did that so well, Judy, notice when we say hello, we're not telling it should stop feeling that way. This is not meant to change your feelings. It may change them. They may change, let's put it that way, but not because we've done anything in order to change. Why do feelings change when they're acknowledged? Do you know why? Why do feelings often change when they're acknowledged? Because that's what feelings do. It's natural for feelings to change. It's odd when they don't. I think when feelings don't change, something's missing in the quality of attention. Because even if the outer situation stays hard, our inner responses go through evolutions. And if we stay in touch with the inner responses, life is very interesting, because this becomes this, and this becomes this. Anger becomes sadness. Sadness becomes gratitude. Yeah. Stay with it. Very nice. Oh, Murray, glad you got a big release. That's so great. Yes, very nice. Yeah. Fear and hope. Oh, and Susan writes, we all want to be heard, even our feelings. Yeah. Do you find that, right? Right now, when you say hello to how you're feeling, is there a response inside, like that place is grateful that you heard it? I often feel that. Also, thank you for hearing me. And when feelings just get bigger and bigger and bigger, that I feel that's often because they are trying to get our attention. Yeah, wonderful. All right. So as we near the end of our time, And I just want to thank so much everybody who's been participating in the chat, responding to each other with such kindness and sharing with such openness. Thank you so much for that. And let's summarize. So we're talking today about and how we can be with our stressful, challenging feelings as they are without trying to change them, although they often change. And we can have what supports us, what enlivens us, what offers us joy. I often just look out the window if I need some joy. And I'm on ground floor here in my little neighborhood, and people walk by with their dogs and children, and and sometimes they pause and look at the back of my car where I have some pretty radical bumper stickers. It's really fun. So notice what gives you fun. Notice what gives you joy, and keep giving company to the places in you that are struggling. It's been lovely to be with you today. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now. Take care.